things plugged in. I don't think there's a setting either.
Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, had a long and successful reign. The empire he ruled from Prague expanded, and his subjects lived in peace and prosperity. When the emperor died, the whole empire mourned. More than 7,000 people accompanied him on his last procession. The heir to the throne of the flourishing empire was Charles's son, Wenceslas IV, whose father had prepared him for this moment all his life. But Wenceslas did not take after his father. He neglected affairs of state for more frivolous pursuits. He even failed to turn up for his own coronation as emperor, which did little to endear him to the Pope. Wenceslas the Idle did not impress the imperial nobility either. His difficulties mounted until the nobles, exasperated by the inaction of their ruler, turned for help to his half-brother, King Sigismund of Hungary. Sigismund decided on a radical solution. He kidnapped the king to force him to abdicate, then took advantage of the ensuing disorder to gain greater power for himself. He invaded Bohemia with a massive army and began pillaging the territories of the king's allies. It is here that my story begins.
Hello, this is Emperor Haterius, and I'm going to be playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. Got some guest stars in the background here.
Hello. Ja, wie sprachen Sie Deutsch?
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, veniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum super substantialem da nobis hodie, et dimite nobis debita nostra, sicut...
Alright, let's start a new game.
God bless.
Same to you.
Today's a scorcher.
Well, husband, how goes it?
Good. I should get it finished today. Where on earth is Henry? I need him to run some errands.
He was still sleeping when I went out.
At this hour? Blue-blooded idler.
Well, it looks like he was out all evening, drinking like a lord.
Go and get the lazy bones up then. Quick clout round the ear should do it.
Mm-hmm. Henry! Get up now. There's work to be done.
Get up or I'll come get you up, you slug of bed.
Hear that? You'd better not vex him. Now get up quick. Your breakfast is on the table. Wait, what's this? Have you been... Oh, Henry. How many times have I told you about fighting?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just a scratch.
You've been at that sword play again, haven't you? You'd better pray your father doesn't get to hear of it. You know how he feels about it.
Oh, don't worry, it wasn't that. I just scratched myself is all.
Well, just don't come crying to me if you really do get hurt. Now get up, you rogue. A fine state you're in this morning. What on earth did you get up to last night?
By means of the first two choices in the dialogue, you will select your character's default characteristics. If you're not satisfied with them, not to worry. All characteristics can be further developed without limitations. What on earth did you get up to last night? Chatting in the tavern, speech, dancing, agility, was with Bianca, vitality. I was working in the forge, strength. Now I don't know if this is gonna be him lying on the other options, or if this is actually what he has been doing. Now, presumably this guy is the son of a blacksmith. So maybe working in the forge and increasing my strength initially would be good. There seems to be a love interest named Bianca, which would increase vitality. I guess that's your HP? Or your constitution, I guess. I don't know what agility would affect. Maybe your speed, nimbleness. And speech is always going to be a good thing in a game like this. What do you guys think of the four?
I would probably go with, from what I've heard and from what I've kind of thought, I think speech would probably be a good idea.
I mean, yeah, it's a speech-based role-playing game. Speech would be a great thing to start out with, I'm sure. Then again, it's also a combat RPG.
That's true. So agility probably wouldn't do you much good. So it's between speech. Honestly, I'd choose either speech or strength. HP probably can be done later on, but you always want to get your damage high enough first with strength, or just anything that requires a strength check. But me personally, early on, I'd probably just do speech.
What do you think, Mr. Sultry?
Probably speech.
That way you can weasel out a few more gold or silver or whatever, Deutschmarks.
Yeah, I think I'll go with chatting in the tavern, and that might lead to other things. We were chatting in the tavern.
Nothing much. Me and the lads were just having a chat in the tavern. Some wayfarer stopped by. He was telling us what's going on in the world, and well, I lost track of time.
Well, I hope he didn't fill your head with nonsense. Well, I've got a feeling there's something you're not telling me. And it's connected with that scratch on your hand. And that suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town recently.
Why would I be interested in sword fighting? Speech. Matthias was teaching me archery, agility. I was with Bianca, vitality. And what does it matter? Strength. So you're strong-arming yourself out of the conversation, and I guess acknowledging that you were messing with a guy with a sword. Suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town. I don't want to stray away from sword use.
Unless you want to be a stealth archer.
Yeah, there's that. Or I want to conquer with words first and then sword. So it's like, why would I be interested in sword fighting and weasel your way out of that as if you're the better. I think I'll go what does it matter with strength.
So I'm learning to sword fight, and what of it? What harm does it do? At least I'll be able to defend myself.
A good point.
God above, Hal. You know how your father will react when he finds out.
How? What's he gonna do? I'm doing nothing wrong, I just wanted to try it.
On your own head be it then. I can't stop you, and you can deal with your father on your own. Don't come looking to me for help.
Have my friends been here? I'm hungry.
This guy's a total meat.
Is Pa angry at me? Do you need help?
So what if I want to do something? I'm hungry.
I mean, it's a good thing to learn swordsmanship regardless. So I kind of agree with that. He needs to. I need to. I'm not going to be a total tool though. And I'm going to ask, do you need help? Or
don't come looking to me for help. Do you need help?
Don't come looking to me for help. Do you need help?
Do you need help?
Do you need help? Try to get on her good side. Do you need help?
Do you need me to do anything, Ma?
Ah, you're a good lad. But I'm fine. It's your father needs helping with that sword.
Okay, so this is just like Oblivion. Going through each thing, I guess. I'm hungry. I'll ask, is Pa angry at me?
Is Father angry with me for sleeping late?
He's not happy. Yesterday you promised him you'd help finish that sword for Sir Radzig. He's not as young as he was. And you know how his joints pain him. He's too proud to complain. But he needs your help, Henry.
I know. Don't worry, Ma. Of course I'll help him.
Good. He always says his knees ache when there's a storm coming. I hope they're wrong this time. It's looking like such a nice day.
Have my friends been here?
Did Matthew and Fritz come looking for me?
No, I haven't seen them this morning. They shouldn't be hard to find. they'll be hanging around a tavern somewhere as usual.
Oh, leave it be, Mother. You're misjudging them. My friends aren't drunks. I don't want to talk about that. I have to go. I honestly don't know how they are, so I can't state this unless it generates them that way. Or if it's just an overall generic, like, covering my friends. No, they're not drunks. When they are. Defensive, but still good with her, I guess, would be my friends aren't drunks. You're misjudging them might be bad towards her. I'll say that. My friends aren't drunks.
Matthew and Fritz aren't drunkards.
I never said they were, did I? And if I really minded you going for a beer with them, I'd have put a stop to it long ago. I was young once too, you know. And your father was no angel when he was in Kuttenberg.
How was I conceived, Mother?
Your father was no angel when he was in Kuttenberg. I want to at least hear exploits about his father. So let's say, give me an example.
Of course he wasn't.
You don't believe me? Ask him yourself.
All right, I will.
You're not a boy anymore, Henry. You're a man, and it's time to start acting like one. Yesterday you promised your father you'd help at the forge. If you made yourself useful now and then, I wouldn't mind your mischief making so much.
I'm hungry.
Can I get something to eat?
I left some breakfast on the table. Help yourself.
Thanks. In dialogue.
Get ready for the worst controls of your life. No, I'm just kidding.
Player's character and abilities are determined by the stats, skills, and perks you will find in the player tab. Henry basically develops his abilities constantly simply by using them. Once every few level, okay. Sprint, circle, jump, square, interact with the world using X. You can talk to people, collect things, open boxes. Okay, so I can actually look at all this. Quests and journal. I missed the journal aspect of like Oblivion. Pickpocketing. Lockpicking, I'll have to look at that later. Dice. Character stats. Okay. Come automatically simply by playing, and all can be developed to the maximum. There are no obstacles or situations that would prevent such improvements of selected abilities. With leveling up of the stats, you will get the option to select one of the perks that in some way improves your ability or changes the way it functions. You can select the perks in the player tab. 4 primary stats. Strength defines how well Henry can handle physical challenges. Greater strength makes it possible to wield heavier weapons and wear heavier armor. Each level up also significantly increases your capacity of inventory. Strength is the basic stat, influencing Henry's combat ability, and combat in turn also increases strength. Agility is a measure of speed, movement, and dexterity. A more agile character can not only move faster, but also has more easily evades attacks. Fight more skillfully with demanding weapons such as a saber, and shoot better with a bow. Archery, like other forms of combat, increases agility. Vitality influences the character's endurance, how much wounding he can endure, how long he can sprint, and how often he needs to eat or sleep. Oh, that's something to consider.
Yep.
With increased vitality, stamina and its speed of regeneration also grow. You can train your vitality by running, overcoming physical obstacles, and demanding combat. So the more you exert yourself in combat, the more vitality you get, I guess. Speech determines character's rhetorical skill and eloquence. The more Henry talks to people, the more eloquent he becomes. Becoming a better speaker means you can avoid conflicts before they even start. Your haggling is more efficient, and you can disarm someone by argument who wouldn't be able to beat in combat. You wouldn't be able to beat in combat. There are also derivative stats. Charisma is a measure of how you can impress people. Fast talk will get you only that far. Fancy clothes and ornaments can give you that extra bit of stature you need. That's cool. You can dress nicer and get more stats off of it. Visibility is the opposite of camouflage. It tells you how easy you are to spot. This is not the same thing as conspicuousness. A pitch dark garb is not much visible, but very conspicuous once spotted. The lower the better. You are invisible once this reach 0. Conspicuousness is a measure of how you stand out in usual environment. In other words, if you warrant a second look from anyone who can see you, it is derived from your clothes. The lower the better. The very low conspicuousness people will mostly ignore you even when spotted. So like dark, muddy, green clothes probably be better to wear, so you have more, I guess, stealth. And if you, I would imagine it works with the class too, like the hierarchy. If you dress like a pauper and you're dark and drab looking, you probably will escape attention from people looking from you. Noise. The more noise you make, the more likely you are discovered whenever you move. Noise is derived from your clothing and weapons you have equipped, which makes sense. Speed determines how fast you can walk, run, and sprint is derived from your agility and overall encumbrance. The game also contains buffs and debuffs, which either improve or worsen Henry's abilities in some way. You can find them in the player panel in the buffs tab. The most common include hunger, tiredness, bleeding, drunkenness, and overloading. So you get drunk and go running into battle. So with all that being said, and just the joke of it, I would call this guy Hardcore Henry, because it's kind of a survival, like everything's gonna matter kind of game, sounds like. Character skills. As well as character stats, you can improve your skills. This is done by using them repeatedly, and there is nothing to stop you from developing them to the maximum. You will find them in the player tab. Your combat skills are shown in a separate tab and all others in the skills tab. After your third level up of each skill, you will be given the option to choose a perk that in some way improves or alters the use of a given skill. That's cool. 7 combat skills. Warfare increases your overall proficiency in fighting with all weapons or unarmed. Defense makes you more difficult to wound, in effect increasing your armor rating. Axe makes you more proficient with an axe, effectively increasing your weapon stats when you equip an axe. Bow makes you more proficient with a bow. An arrow effectively increase your weapon stats. Mace makes you more proficient with maces. Sword, unarmed, more proficient when fighting with your fists, increasing the damage you cause. So you can do more damage by leveling that up. That's cool. 10 non-combat skills. Stealth allows you to avoid detection, in effect lowering visibility. Horsemanship allows you to control your horse better and therefore get more out of it, in effect increasing your horse's stats, so it has stats too. Lockpicking makes picking locks on doors or chests easier. The jitter and hardness of the locks is lowered, and you can attempt picking the more difficult ones. Pickpocketing makes robbing other people on the street easier. Alchemy makes brewing potions easier. The time and order requirements are more relaxed, and you can attempt to brew more complicated concoctions. So you can make potions in this?
They call them potions, but it's actually just some...
like poultices and stuff.
Yeah.
Maintenance allows you to repair your weapons at the grindstone. It makes it easier and faster to fix the damaged weapon. That's going to be big. Drinking makes you more resistant to nefarious effects of alcohol. So I wonder if you ever get, like, forcibly drunk or something in the game. Hunting increases the amount of meat and other useful materials you recover from animals you kill, so there will be hunting. Herbalism allows you to collect more herbs with a single action. This means that you're able to gather flowers more quickly and easily. So those are probably something you toggle while out in the field, and it gathers from that, like something like you're doing there on your game. Reading influences your ability to actually read books. Without it, any book is just gibberish to you.
Yeah, I don't think you start out with reading yet.
Higher reading skill decreases the amount of time required to read and comprehend a book. Well, that's common with lower castes. You couldn't read unless you were an aristocratic house of some sort, I'm sure.
I would probably focus your attention as soon as you start, like
reading, so I can find out stuff.
Yeah. So just
if I can find books, which will probably be in like a noble house or a castle at least. I may have to steal them.
Just go around stealing books so you can learn to read.
Hoarding books, yes. This is cool. Character list.
Actually, that's not a bad idea because books would be like valuable this time and age.
I really like this menu system. It's really nice. The art style is awesome. Okay, Charles IV, Sigismund of Luxembourg, the Ronald family, Lords of Talmberg, the Pope, Wenceslas IV. Why are there markers on these, though? Oh, it has sub things. That's cool. William of Talmberg and Milcene. The Pope, Pope Clement the VII. Pope Urban the VI. It's pretty cool. Society. This is just going to be me going through this. But I really like the style of this so far.
Yeah, it seems pretty neat.
Society has a tab. Beekeeping. During the Middle Ages, beekeeping was distinguished by how the honey was obtained as either forced or domestic. Domestic beekeeper kept bees in hollow trees or in straw skeps, wickerwork hives, and were not subject to any regulation. Conversely, the forest beekeepers who kept bee colonies in the wild in hollowed-out trees formed a fellowship similar to a guild and paid a fee to the owners of the woodlands for every bee colony they took over. Beeswax was the main raw material for the production of candles right until artificial wax, paraffin wax, was invented. Honey was used as a sweetener and fermented to make mead. So, if I collect that, I could probably either craft mead and candles, or maybe sell them to people. Or maybe I can own a beekeeping. That plus, if it's not domestically regulated, maybe I could actually take a bunch of wax from people. Farmer. Noble officials. Hetman, originally the commander in some armed forces with a rank equivalent to captain. Later on, the role became that of civic governor, selected from amongst the local nobility who represented the monarch in a given territory. Hofmeister, from the German Hof, meaning a court or manor, a hereditary office at the royal court. He was responsible for management of the court. So the court of a nobleman or monarchy. Oh, the royal court. So this is the Hofmeister is the court official. Under Chamberlain, also with the Chancellor, the Under Chamberlains, in Latin Subcamerarius, was a member of the office represented the sovereign in royal cities such as proto-notaries or notaries. Burgrave, the representative of the sovereign and representative of the provincial officials of knightly status. His duties included management of the city and leading the army when needed. There's a lot of stuff to this.
Welcome to the medieval ages.
So we have the abduction of Wenceslas IV. The Conquest of Kuttenberg, and the Golden Age of Charles IV. Kuttenberg, I think that's where we're at. No, we're in Skalitz, I think. Yeah, we're in Silver Skalitz. That's what it was. And then Kuttenberg is where your father either came from or has been in his youth. Oh. Deeper bow, more respectful greeting. Next level was to kneel on the left knee and bow the head in deference to rulers. The most subordinate level was to bow while down on both knees, an expression of complete subjugation, often combined with a plea. Doffing headwear was a practice that came in with Burgundian fashion. Not proper to kiss the hands of ladies, but they were given a deep bow than their social rank alone would elicit. A lot of little stuff there. Guilds. Invective. Jews. Land army.
What, they have a page on Jews?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
God.
Jews settled in Moravia and Bohemia probably even earlier than the 10th century. The king's own, the Jews were considered, and under his protection. So that if the townspeople were inclined to commit a pogrom, to set fire to the quarter and massacre the inhabitants, they would have to pay the king a hefty reparations. So the Jews of the land are considered the king's own. There's a lot to this. I really like it. Toilets. Trial by ordeal. Guilt or innocence was proved by appealing to God. He had to judge guilt or innocence. A typical ordeal was to be put to test by fire, hot water, poison, or dueling with the counterparty. The trial often ended in injury or even death of the accused or the accuser. Oh man, we're gonna get into some duels later. So, that was the codex. Here's the map. That's really cool looking. Oh, you can move it around too. Full screen map. Look at that
That's
part.
just of Skalitz. Just imagine
Yeah.
the map.
This is a silver mining location because from the cutscene. Farmlands. You got a river. Probably with some logging industry. Skip time button? Nope. Okay, the map has the quests. Okay, so that's the legend, yeah. Side quests. Quest tipster. Quest giver. Activity giver, fast travel destination, and your bed. Okay, quest log. Unexpected visit. We finally got some fine spring weather, but still I slept late in the morning because I was out celebrating until late in the evening. It was a bit hard getting out of bed in the morning. I have to go to Father. I promised I'd help him with his work. I started getting some training in sword fighting from a mercenary who turned up in Skalitz recently. Father and Mother mustn't find out. For some reason they don't want me to learn to defend myself. I got a bit of a cut in yesterday's lesson though. We're supposed to meet by the alehouse again today. He can't read, but he writes these journal entries that are very eloquent. So, I need to go A, to my father to help him with a sword, and B, to a sword fighting lesson again. Oh, is that a... Oh, that's an hourglass. That may mean there's going to be time-based quests.
Yeah, there are.
That's going to suck.
I know.
There's the player. 0 skills in all this. Even though I said I was sword fighting. Training at least. 0. Stats. Strength is 2, agility 1, 1 vitality, 2 speech. I guess these are the perks. Trustworthy middleman. Merchants will be more willing to buy stolen items from you. Troubadour. 50% higher reputation when you talk to women, so you can persuade them more easily, and you can avail of bath wenches' services for free. Definitely want that one.
I think they mean services, quote unquote.
Silver tongue, increase your speech skill when haggling. Empathetic. Dialogue, you'll see counterparts' stats and skill checks. That'll be an important one. So like the DC check against their skill. Lowborn, your speech stat will rise by +3 when you talk to commoners. You can't have the perk Highborn at the same time. So there's 2 different ones. Highborn, increase your speech level by 3 when talking to nobles and wealthy people. I'd want that one, to be honest, because they're probably going to be the hardest to deal with in the game. Because that's just the way it is.
I don't think
they're going to look down on you.
I don't think there's one that involves the middle class either. So
there's no middle class. It's just the nobility, and then there's the... Because the tradesman isn't really a middle class. It's just a required class.
No, it was a middle class back in those days. The merchant class was considered middle class.
I mean, they were their own thing, kind of, though. Still. Final offer: when a trader loses patience with you during haggling, which sounds like it's timed, you get 1 more chance to make another offer. So, talking to people increases your speech. So I definitely want to talk to as many people as I can when I'm not in a rush. Oh, there's main level perks. Like perks in general. Ascetic. You'll last 30% longer without food, but as soon as you get hungry, the effects will be 20% worse. Oh. So that's pretty bad. Manly odor. When dirty, you'll have 50% more charisma when talking to women. However, people will smell you a mile off, reducing your stealth skill by 30%. That sounds like it'd be good overall, though. Like if you're not playing stealthily. Night Rider. Your stamina will regenerate 20% faster at night, but 10% slower during the day. That's cool. Scout 1 slightly increases the sight distance of fast travel and also the chances of evading by 10%. Chances of evading. So maybe it's like while you're fast traveling, you could get attacked. Maybe it's one of those kind of deals with the fast travel. Wanderer. You grew up in impoverished conditions, so comfort of beds is inverted for you. The worse the bed, the better you sleep, and vice versa. Oh, okay, so you're going to have debuffs sleeping on bad beds or areas. Insomniac. Increases the time you can do without sleep. Your energy level falls 1/4 more slowly. That sounds like it's just good overall. Unless that gives you debuffs later. Renegade Brand. Penalties on stats following release from jail are 20% lower. So you get that, I guess, from going to jail.
SHAREfactory. Kind of like Oblivion.
Burger. In towns and villages and their immediate vicinity, you have a +1 bonus strength, agility, vitality, and speech. Can't be combined with Savage perk. It says burger like it's a German, like, official, but it has a hood on it like you're a burglar.
That's not a hood, that's a helmet.
It looks like a hood to me.
Looks like a helmet. One with a little visor on it.
It looks like kind of a hood to me, but... Oh no! That's like, That's like one of those frilly things around your neck, and he's got a hat on, so it might actually be burger. So like if you're in the towns, you get bonuses, because you're an official of some sort. First Aid 2. Bandages are 25% more effective. You also apply your healing skill in dialogues. Cool, so maybe you can heal people. Savage. In the wilds, you have a +1 bonus on strength, agility, vitality, and speech. Cannot be combined with burger. Which one would you guys want? Burger or Savage? It's a +1 to everything.
I'm probably going to be out in the wilds more often, so I'd probably choose Savage.
Scout 2 increases sight distance, fast travel. Chances of evading, another 10%. Brute, you favor brute strength to a pleasant demeanor. You get a +2 strength bonus, but a -1 penalty on charisma and speech. Cannot be combined with perks Ken, Golden Tongue, Juggler, or Cloak and Dagger.
A whole lot of these have debuffs or negatives.
Or alternative perks.
Yeah, like
Cloak and Dagger. It's good to specialize though, which is pretty cool. Cloak and Dagger, prefer to remain in the shadows. You have +2 stealth bonus at the cost of -1 penalty to both strength and speech. Golden Tongue, you always favor diplomacy over brute force. You get a +2 speech bonus, but a -2 strength loss. Juggler, you've been exceptionally supple and agile since childhood. However, turning somersaults and falling on your head and left their mark. You have a +1 agility bonus, but a -1 penalty on speech and charisma.
You actually come out worse. You get +1, but -2.
Ken, handsome and charismatic, but you haven't built up your strength. +2 charisma, -2 strength. Oh. Scholar, momentary reading level increased by 3, but your strength and warfare skills have each incurred a -1 penalty. It's not as bad, but warfare skills? That's just your overall fighting. First Aid 3. Infamous. With a low reputation in a given area, you also get a +1 bonus on strength and speech, agility and vitality. But your reputation rises much faster than usual, and the penalties for serving jail times are less. Can't be combined with local hero.
That one's still good.
If your reputation is high in an area, you get +1 bonus on all that. At the same time, though, your reputation falls much faster than usual, and the penalties for jail time last longer. So you're more of like the rebel good guy. Can't be combined with infamous. Contemplative. As long as you remain still, your tiredness and hunger will stay at the same level. Huh. And that's the last of the main level perks. Strength. Strength has Gravedigger. Carrying dead or unconscious bodies won't cost you any stamina, and they will burden you only half as much. Stronghold. Blocking an opponent's blows will cost you 30% less stamina. Clinch Master gives you 1/3 higher chance of overpowering your opponent in a clinch. Maybe that's when you clash. If there is clashing in this. Yeah, it has the swords hitting each other, so if you're, it's probably a little quick time, or you gotta overpower them, or be more dexterous. Mule gives you more pound carry. Boar, you can deplete an opponent's health and stamina by bumping into him at a sprint. The effect is increased if your armor is heavier than his. I like that one. I'd probably want to go medium to heavy armor and charge people. Tight grip. Stamina regeneration will not slow down in combat, even on the weapon backswing. That's really good. Head cracker. You have a 10% greater chance of knocking out an opponent with a blow to the head. Oh, what if you can drag people in like in Mount and Blade and ransom them off? That'd be cool. What were they? What were they?
I don't remember.
They weren't slavers. They were
They were slavers.
No. They were like bounty hunters almost. I don't remember what they were called though. But they would run around with blunt weapons on horseback and just beat people down and then capture them. Heavy swing. Your attacks cause 20% greater damage, but cost you 10% more stamina. Applies only to weapons that require strength to wield. Dreadful. Foes will be more likely to flee from combat with you. The ones who do fight you will be less determined. I really want that one. I really want that one. Minimum level 14. Agility ones. Featherweight. Featherweight. Falling will cause you 30% less injury. Fast Striker. Your attacks will demand 30% less stamina, but will also cause 20% less injury. Applies only to weapons that are based on agility. Light Armor. If you're not wearing plate armor, it will be 50% easier for you to dodge strikes in combat. Perfect Throw. You have a better chance of throwing winning dice. So agility affects gambling, I guess. Taunt. A successful evasion during combat will lower your opponent's morale. And that's all of agility, at least at this. Vitality. Marathon Man. Oop. Run slower, but keep it up for longer. Your sprint speed is 20% slower, but demands 20% less stamina. Cannot be combined with Sprinter perk. You run faster, but also tire faster. Sprinting is 20% faster, but costs 20% more stamina. Thick-blooded. You bleed slower. Balanced diet. If you don't either overeat or go hungry for 5 consecutive days, you get a +1 bonus at vitality and agility. Human dustbin. You can dispel hunger with anything. You won't suffer from eating poisoned or spoiled food, but neither will you have any positive effect from it. Does not apply to alcohol. Berserk. As soon as your health falls to a minimum, you go berserk and your stamina regenerates 4 times faster. That's really cool. Blood Rush. After beating your first opponent, you get a 50% attack bonus and your stamina will regenerate 1/4 faster. Last Gasp. You'll survive an otherwise fatal blow and your health will even regenerate by 20%, only activated once in a combat. Revenant. Your health will regenerate gradually. And that's it for vitality. Speech. We've already looked at speech. Okay. So, is there anything I can do now, or do I have to like unlock it over time? Current XP, required XP, 0. Unless I spend it on something. I'm making a lot of noise. I am 50 conspicuous with this outfit. Very visible. I have 7 charisma. Charisma is measure how fast you can, or how you can impress people. Fast talk will get you only that far. Blah blah. Its total is the average charisma value of all the visible items of clothing you're wearing. Underclothes don't count. It's also influenced by how clean, dirty, or bloody your attire is, so it's worthwhile visiting the baths now and again, or at least having a wash and a trowel.
Or a spare set of clothes handy.
Or getting at a river, I guess. Or waterfall. Nourishment.
It depicted me singing Deep River.
I once posed for a statue. It was a nude rock, and it depicted me singing Deep River.
1924.
1924. Okay, so there's so many. Reputation 100 in Scarlets.
Oh, Bill.
Oh, Bill. Scarlet's villagers. Is that good? 100? It looks like it's kind of a meh face. Statistics.
That's just how well.
I've already been playing this for an hour. Because I've been reading everything. Yeah, it's interesting. This is, I'm gonna keep referring to like Oblivion, but this is intensive. And I like it. Like with the stats at least, and you know the old system is doing it over time. It's like Skyrim with guns, you know.
Except it's not Skyrim. It's better.
Crafting. Written works examined. Skill books started. Oh, there's skill books. That's another thing.
You gotta read first, though.
You gotta read. You gotta read.
You do.
You gotta carry that book.
You gotta carry that.
You're gonna carry that
book, Raj.
You're gonna carry that book. You're hungry. Your stamina is decreased, and eventually you'll start losing health. So I'm gonna die, Mom. Where's my breakfast? I'm hungry and I'm dying. Oh, there's perks for your skills too. God. Oh my god. I don't think I want to get into that, but at the same time I do want to look at this. Leg day for herbalism. Herb picking activity will add experience to your strength stat too. That's cool. Hunting. Antlers. Enables you to get antlers from hunted animals. Tusks. Wild at heart. Wild animals will be less skittish when you're close. Forester. Your conspicuousness and visibility fall sharply in woods, so you can be stealthier. Useful especially when stalking people. Salty. Raw foods in your inventory won't spoil so fast. I need that, but I need to be level 10. Steak tartare. You can eat raw meat. So you guys just make savage woodsmen that just eats nothing but raw meat.
You totally should be like that ranger kind of guy who does that.
But that's a stealth archer. I already have takedown for stealth. Lets you knock people out from a crouching position. Rain Man. You move almost silently in the rain. The noise of your footsteps are reduced by 70%. Ordinary mug. When you're wanted, people will be less likely to recognize your face and will soon stop looking for you. Dog person. Dogs won't bark at you. That's a cool perk.
That might be handy for at night.
When you're in town.
Or something.
Et tu, Brute. Your attacks from behind will be 1/3 stronger. Oh, just stealth crits. Reading. Colleague. All books are cheaper in shops. You can buy them. In the flow, when reading, you will get tired and hungry twice as slowly as normal. So it's actually going to make you spend time reading. Art connoisseur. First time you look at a fresco, cross, or a wayside shrine, your charisma will increase temporarily by 2. I like that. Magistrate 1.
I'm just giving you a word of advice from what my friends have told me. You really do need to learn how to read. Like, you got to start trying to learn how to read.
Being well learned, you make a better impression on people and get a +1 speech bonus when trying to persuade a guard. Avid reader, your level of study of the book you've read most of will advance automatically while sleeping or skipping time. Oh, so it's the books will have like an amount of book you've read. So it'll keep progress of how much of the book you've read. Cushion. If you're sitting comfortably, you'll get a double reading bonus. SWAT. It doesn't matter to you where you read, you'll get a learning bonus anywhere you read. It doesn't go against the cushion though. So I wonder if that gets you more of a bonus? Cartographer. The whole map is revealed to you, showing all settlements, hunting spots, and caves. Man. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at all this and whoa. Weapon damage, of course, is going to be a thing. Knight in shining armor. In the sunny weather, the glint of your armor will dazzle everyone so much you'll be taken for a noble knight and have a +4 charisma bonus. Excellent perk right there. Well worn, you're able to put on your armor so cleverly that its real weight is 1/3 lighter than it actually weighs in the inventory. Golem, your armor is 1/3 more frightening than usual.
It's because back in the day, if you knights and lords were the only people who could really afford, armor, like plate mail and stuff like that. That's why it wasn't so commonly available. Even the most well-funded armies were standard, like only wore chainmail and tabards as standard. Because they couldn't afford to,
or if you're a mercenary.
Well, I mean, if you are a mercenary, then maybe. But,
you're still viewed as an asset. Looks like the perks for the weapons are actual combos. Directional combos. It looks like it's directional with a star when you fight. Interesting. Unarmed. There's no perks. It's just unarmed.
If that's the case, dude, if I ever get this game, I'm probably just going to play an unarmed fighter.
An unarmed savage dirty man that eats raw meat.
Oh, yeah.
Carries his horse.
You're going to carry that horse.
Carries his dead horse that he killed for meat.